first question going to be, what's my favorite curse word?
We're here with the president of all black people. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Oh, no problem. I should be. They would not have let me.
Like, he hangs out with too many white people. You can't possibly be the king of all black people.
I'll be the president of foreign affairs for black people.
Well, off to a smooth start already. I see we lost 4 sponsors. And
oh, hello. Hello, viral world.
So how long have you been playing guitar for now?
I am 26, so I started when I was like 12. So whenever that is.
14 years or so?
Yeah.
Did you take lessons or were you self-taught?
No, yeah, I'm self-taught.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I feel like, I'm still, it's cool, but also now that I've been around more like musicians or seeing people play, I see my faults in learning that way, because they know shit, and I'm just like, let's do it in this type of vibe, or we have a sunshiny chord.
Yeah, I've been playing probably like about 10 years or so, and self-taught as well. And I had a music theory class, and then all of a sudden I started learning like terms and the mathematics for like the muscle memory I had in my hands. I was like, oh, okay, that's what this is called. But what I found was after I learned like some of these methods that I would try to write myself like according to the quote-unquote rules.
It just sounds weird.
Yeah. Well, it didn't sound like me. It just sounded like I was just writing somebody else's pop song, you know?
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Because you're thinking too much about what's correct.
Yeah, because it's like, well, I can't make this note flat. That'll be wrong.
Yeah.
This is one thing I enjoyed about your playing, especially whenever I saw you, solo a couple times. It's the chord structures you're doing. Sometimes they'll be like jazz chords, and where it would normally be like a power chord for like a rock band.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah. Thank you for noticing that.
Yeah, dude. Like, I was like, that's different. It's like that's. Normally with me, like with other guitar players, I don't latch on to the technique of it. Kind of like we were talking about before we got started, like folks that shred.
Yeah.
Like, that doesn't impress me. What does impress me is a songwriter that can also write riffs as well as just like a 4-chord melody or something.
Yeah, man. I feel the same way. I used to want to be, when I was first starting playing, my goal was to be like Steve Vai or something. Right, I'm not a big Steve Vai fan, but like somebody that's technical and like just like the sickest shredder and all this type of stuff, which is dope. But I realized that me personally, I'm never like looking those people up to listen to. I really care about songs. You know,
right?
I mean, if I'm gonna, as a fan, I'm gonna listen to songs. So I'm trying to get better at that, which it seems like it's gonna takes years and years to.
Well, one thing I found interesting about your songwriting, and more so with the Mama Stone than some of the newer solo stuff, but it's there's a lot of conventional stuff that you'll use in your songwriting, but in an unconventional manner. So like I'll notice that sometimes like the bridge of a song will change tempo and sometimes even the key, but yet it makes sense as far as the whole idea in the context of the song itself.
Yeah. Thank you again. Wow, I feel so validated. and of course, the Mama stuff is me and Ross and Sam, Ritz God, his nickname. But it's definitely a group effort. Excuse me, I had to hit my inhaler. But it's definitely a group effort, so I feel like I'm the most unconventional writing wise. Just I'm like pure like an idea. Ross has the best, like he knows theory pretty well. He says he doesn't, but more than I always when I'm from like I looked at him like, hey, what should go here? What chords should happen here? You know, and Ritz would make moments, look for like moments in song. We all kind of share that. Like, oh, we gotta have some songs will be like, we gotta have a song that does this, and then in the middle hits you with this vibe, and so we're all focused on getting to like a bridge of a song,
right,
and writing a song around it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'll have that a fair amount because I don't really write. No song with mine is written in the same manner. You know what I mean? Sometimes a title will hit me. I'm like, oh, that's a cool title.
What's that sound like?
Yeah. Well, what's the idea with it? But what's the most recent song you guys had on Spotify? Knowing No One?
I think so. Yeah.
And like
that was all over the place.
Oh well, the end of it, it just beats you down, and you're not expecting it. Like the beginning part of the song will kind of like seduce the listener in
to some old sounding shit, like some conventional funk.
Yeah. It's like a funk grunge in a way, you know.
Yeah.
But like it's a unique sound, even with the solo DIY stuff, like a song like Sick, where it's building these textures for the listener, you know. Like to me, those are usually records I enjoy more, or when the artist is like, all right, well, the song's cool, but let's make it fun for the listener too.
I try to do that, and I feel like that's where I don't really like pop music that much. Like I do, but I wish it was more musically involved and whatnot. But what they do kill is it's fun to, it's ear candy in it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
I think that's why people don't like. Or go see a band or something and be like, this is boring. I want to, hear something else because we got so used to all these other sounds and electronic shit. But trying to figure out how to put ear candy in, or like, just that's a cool noise that they did that in a musical way is hard. But the goal.
I'll find myself a lot of times like the mix down is usually like my favorite part, even like before I was like mixing like my own records, like just to be able to sit in and just like you get hit with all these ideas and be like oh, like sometimes it won't even be that song I'm working on. It'll be like I'll hear something, I'll be like oh shit, I should write another song that'll have
where I can execute this.
There's something to be said about music that will take sparse playing from different people. So where like the guitar will just like play like an arpeggio very softly and it'll just ring it out, and then the bass is playing a riff that's not even mimicking what the guitar is doing, and then the drums are doing something off rhythm but still in the pocket to hit certain notes of the bass. Those moments of a band always really like turn me on to like the live spectacle of it, because you are right, like there is something that happens to us where when you see a band live you can be like almost dissatisfied because it's not the same thing as listening to them on the record. And with me it's like I don't want the same thing as the record. I want the raw visceral thing of it. And
I think the goal is to satisfy both of those types of people. You know what I mean? So if you can write it in a way where it translates, you can put that sheen on it, record it, but it's not empty live, then the people like you and me can appreciate it for like the playing, and other people are like, I love this song. You know? You know what I mean?
It's interesting, like I'll find it with being overly analytical with writing, that like a lot of people don't even care about like what it takes to make the song. They just like the way it makes them feel.
And what is more important, right?
True. So in the car on the way down, we were talking about something we had talked about, I think the second time we had met, which was notions of Southern homogeny.
Oh, yes,
And all the bullshit, for lack of a better term, that
that's the best
can be drawn in from it.
I hate that. I'm technically a good old Southern boy. I've been here my whole life.
Right.
But me and I feel like a lot of the people I gravitate to are not. They don't fit into any like stereotype. Like I used to see on TV like people depict the South from North, and everybody's like playing banjos and whatever. Or if you're black, you're fucking, I don't know, gangster or something. It's not reflective reality. Yeah, you said as the spokesman of Black Foreign Affairs, I feel that. Oh boy, I feel that.
The social justice warriors love this show, by the way. Don't worry.
Oh, I bet. I I have no problem. I'm all down for the open discussion. But
Of course.
yeah, like we were talking about groupthink, just like in our country or the world, I guess. Damn, yeah, that's going on right now. That you have to fit into like a camp of whatever.
Mm-hmm.
People will see you and assume what camp you're in, and then others who are in it do the same thing. So it keeps you from like, it keeps you from being whoever you truly are. Like if I was eating sushi the other day at fucking work, and one of my black coworkers said, "Whoa, what the hell you eating? Black folk don't eat that." And I was like, "Shut the hell up! Let me eat some goddamn sushi. It has no race on it. It's delicious. It's delicious food."
I think that's it's interesting that the arguments of like cultural appropriation kind of get left out of cuisine a lot of times.
Yeah, because it's good.
Yeah. Have you ever had sushi?
Yeah.
It's like saying you don't like sandwiches. It's like, well, what sandwich were you eating?
Oh,
Every sandwich is different.
It's like, oh, we're Mexican. We don't eat sandwiches. You can't eat a sandwich. I mean, I started playing guitar when I was 12. When I started doing that, and it's not like I didn't start out playing R&B and shit.
Right.
I was into Fall Out Boy, and so my dad is like, he never like was like, "Duh, if you keep doing that shit, I'm disowning you." He wasn't like that, but it was definitely like, we don't do that. we don't do that. You need to play the blues or something. Then I found the blues, and it's all black from there. No, it's cute.
A lot of the black guitarists that were friends of mine in high school, a lot of them, like, they didn't play like rock and roll at all. I mean, it's Lakeland, so I mean, you talk about like the true buckle of the Bible Belt, you know.
Oh yeah. So they didn't play rock?
No, the gospel, blues, and jazz. But I mean, just like watching like their hand movement, especially like something like jazz, where it's like they're making like these lightning bolt like figures.
Yeah.
And like without even thinking about it, like the string skipping and all that stuff. But I did find it, however, that like, because like I didn't really listen to country growing up. I mean, there were some like country like outlaw sounding tunes where I was like, that's a cool song.
Yeah.
I didn't really like country.
What? But you're white in the South.
I know. What a
Colter's white, everyone, if you didn't know.
As I said on the last show, I just identify as a white man very, very convincingly.
Okay. Well, whatever you want to. That's what I'm going to dress you as.
I appreciate that hospitality. No, but like I could talk with like my black friends about music because I liked like hip hop and like things that had a heavy rhythm section. That's something I liked about like metal and grunge was that like that rhythm section was like pounding. That's what moves your body, a beat. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
gets
plus
the lower chakras.
Yeah. Well, and plus like there were some hip hop artists that wouldn't ignore the guitar. Some of them, whenever they would do something that was quote unquote rock, they would just be like let's sample Black Sabbath or bring in distorted power chords.
Yeah, it's rock.
Yeah, like that's rock and roll. It's like, I don't know, man. You ever listen to Outkast? Like the live instrumentation that they would have.
Fuck yeah.
Like that was some like awesome stuff. But like my dad, he was not about it. He's like, they ain't singing. They're just talking.
They're just talking.
That ain't music.
It's cool. Like you mentioned, Outkast. I used to love Outkast. I like rock and roll, and I feel like That's what we mainly would be described as.
Well, I mean, even like I find hip hop to be like under the umbrella of rock or alternative anyway. You know,
I feel like they're rock and hip hop are just blues babies.
Yeah,
they're both from in R&B. It's all the blues. So they kind of flirt with each other. Rock and rap, particularly, are both like, I feel like, pretty close to the same thing, same energy.
Yeah, they're not afraid to get dangerous with the music.
Yeah, but it's two different cultures, I guess it comes from. But they both look at each other across the aisle and like, hey, I see you. It's always happened. I remember when Linkin Park did that whole Jay-Z album.
Reanimation?
It blew my mind. I was like, oh, this is great.
Deconstructed? I forgot the name of it was. Yeah, I always liked music that like tried different things. You know what I mean? And that like, especially like, I like music that, like as a guitarist, I would listen to. I'd be like, how did they make that sound? Like how are they making those chords? I never had lessons, so I wasn't like going to a teacher be like, teach me how to play this or anything, you know? Yeah. But sometimes I would see these bands live and I would see like what their hands were doing, like, holy shit, that's how you make that sound.
Interesting. I never thought. Yeah. I feel like I'm getting less and less of that. If I'm to be honest, I mainly, like, if I'm getting in the car or if I'm hanging out, I'm listening to like trap or R&B. Like, I guess like the new school. I love all this new wave of R&B, like people like SZA and Sir and I guess Anderson .Paak. It's like R&B stuff, but it's definitely hip hop influence. Mm-hmm. So they're not kind of ooh girl like the old school stuff. Well, I love that too. But
it's a different vibe though.
Yeah.
It's like I think trap permeating pop music has set this sort of a ethereal quality, you know what I mean? Like it's like it'll set like an ambient tone is going on throughout the whole song. Where it's just like hey, why don't you just lay back?
Vibe set the vibe. Mm-hmm. And then there used to be like which I always thought was kind of metally, like trap or I guess drill music, shit like Chief Keef and whatnot. They have this horror sound. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like they have the piano sounding fucking do 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 do. You know what I'm saying? Everything is horror, and that's the vibe. That's the vibe of it. But that's not rap. That's not hip hop or nothing. That's fucking theater.
Like it really is. I think I'll see like certain people like online. Like I'm 36. I'm almost 37, and looks like so folks in my age range will be like complaining about like music, like it just doesn't have the soul that it used to. It's like, how do you listen to it? Have you heard how pristine like Post Malone's albums are? Yeah. Like I don't care. Like it's
you gotta give him respect.
Yeah, man. Yeah. And like even like somebody like Aesop Rock, like
Aesop Rocky.
Yeah. Not ASAP Rocky, but Aesop Rock.
I don't know who that is.
He's an MC. He has the Guinness World Record for largest vocabulary.
Damn. Okay.
And written works. Out of the top 10, it's he and the 9 members of the Wu-Tang Clan.
That makes sense.
They hold the record. But he came out of like the late 90s, early 2000s era rap, like kind of like around there's like Immortal Technique, Del the Funky Homo Sapien.
Okay, yeah.
And he, as you know, hip hop sort of evolved into alternative, right? Because that's arguably what it is. It's alternative music, but it's he still like exists like within like that realm. Like friends I have that are like 20 years old or like 21 years old, like they'll know who like Aesop Rock is because he's still like putting out albums, and he's found a way to keep his flow and his style not so like growing up and hearing like folks rapping from the 80s or punk or metal from the 80s where you're like well that sounds really old and dated. Like I get the music, it's cool, but
it's not touching me. It's because we like with everything you get as you get older in generations, like they say your kids are inevitably going to be smarter than you. There's nothing you can do about it because they got all the information you had, plus they're
a new start.
So I feel like you can listen to Curtis Blow or something like dancing in the blood with the tread on the feet. I gotta do something for my kids to eat. It's like, dude, you can't rap. But at a time when no one was doing that, the fact that he even was doing it is like mind blowing, you know?
Yeah.
Or you listen to, this is all with love. You listen to like Hendrix, and you're like, oh my god, he's a mind blowing guitarist. But there's hella dudes now that can play all his songs
easily.
Exactly. Yeah. But at the time, kids didn't even know what they were hearing.
Yeah.
So I feel like if we don't like blend genres or try to do something new, we got to create new shit, or else everything's the same. Right?
I totally agree. I think it goes back to this these notions of Southern homogeny, right? Where like particularly like as you know like artists like creatives like it's that quality of being that level of genius, right? Because because all of us are like idiot geniuses, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But to be able to bring in like your own ideas that are not within these pigeonholes that they more or less try to box everybody into, right?
Yeah.
Like I'll see it a lot more with like white liberal friends of mine where they have this notion of like Black Americans being homogenous.
Yeah,
And like that
Preach on it.
they'll want to demonstrate like that like I'm not racist, you guys. Like don't worry about me. Like you see I have a BLM t-shirt on.
Yeah. I think it's totally fine, and I understand that you grew up without a father. Terrell says, like, no, my dad was the coach for my my softball league. Yeah, I played baseball.
My parents are doctors.
Yeah, what do you mean? Yeah, that's always fun. But hey, the sentiment is appreciated, I guess. More than ever, I feel like last year, I've seen everybody, but white people particularly, like, hey, this is a problem. You know, racism is a problem, and I get what you're saying now. And that feels good, I guess. It's got to happen at some point. But it's also like, you couldn't believe us before the pandemic or quarantine or whatever the fuck it is.
Right. Why does it take having to regurgitate the same poison or open the same wound
over and over?
Yeah, over and over again.
And it's not like it hasn't been happening throughout every fucking year, but I feel like my girlfriend says she thinks it's because we had to like life stopped, you know.
Right.
And it's got to be it. That's the only new part about it. Life stopped, and people had to like face their shit on a personal level. You're right.
Right.
And I feel like the whole world, or at least the country, did its collective like evaluation or something, because life stopped moving. So where are we at? This is wrong. Yeah, we all agree this is wrong, right? Let's do something about it. You know what I mean? Right. When before you could be like, oh damn, that black guy got shot with his daughter in the back seat, and he wasn't doing anything. That's crazy. But I've got to go to this meeting. I've got this thing.
Let me share this on Facebook so I can express my sentiment.
Yeah.
And which I totally get. Like, but social media is like something new for humanity. Anyway, you know what I mean? Yeah. So, but
my brains ain't ready for it.
Yeah. But now after like having been exposed to it for like a decade plus, like you gotta be able to sort of objectively look at like, okay, well, who's the person online, this avatar of myself, right? Like, so if you're really wanting to elicit change in the world, then you know I feel like you should do something. That's why like
actually do something.
Yeah. That's why I love like creatives or folks that like are entrepreneurs or folks that are comedians, like, because you're trying to make the world a better place.
Yeah, you're I guess creating is the word, but you're putting out instead of just consuming everything.
Right.
That's the only way you can affect. I don't know. Especially with the internet right now, everybody has a voice. They can say something, whether for good or evil. But
I think that there's power. What's up?
I'm not trying to smoke your
Oh no. You are fine. You're totally fine. Shit, what were we talking about? Brain farted.
That's okay. We were talking about the motherfucking
We're talking. I know,
internet.
like. Yes. So like, if you're it's a lot. There's something where there's power in our voice, right? So like, if we're actually talking with people and actually sharing ideas verbally, you're working out sort of holes in your own argument as you're trying to like pull these words out and articulate an idea, right?
You got to make it make sense to yourself.
Right. It's a lot different than how we receive info rhetorically, like in a text, in a written form, you know.
And one-sided more, you're saying?
Well, I mean, we just take in that data differently. You know what I mean? And I think the thing that makes us truly, or one of the things at least, that makes us truly unique from all other beasts on the planet is our verbal communication. Like, we have words. Yeah. The way we are designed and built, essentially biologically, our throat allows us to produce words. Yeah. You know? Yeah. So if we're able to actually talk about ideas, and again, like with taking context with all of 2020 and what happened as far as, like you said, like very, very aptly put, that introspective state that everybody had to deal with their own shit, their own reality, and come to grips with it. So if you see something wrong with that and wrong with the world, and all you're doing is just typing about it, I don't think you're having as much of an impact as you are if you're actually like putting action behind it, you know, because you're just putting action into a video game.
Yeah. It's not the real world.
Yeah.
Despite how it feels.
Right. You're feeding into the algorithm more, right? Yeah. And that algorithm, based on what you type out, is going to show you more things that will confirm your bias with whatever you're emotionally attached to.
So you, what do they call it, echo chamber?
Yeah, and that's how you foster any type of poisonous ideology, right? Because anybody that dares to disagree with the dogma is a heretic, and you burn the witches at the stake. Yeah, you know, definitely. You don't invite them to the city council to speak. Yeah, you know.
Yeah, like we're talking about in the car, this group thing that's going on particularly scares me or worries me. I come from what I'll deem a cult, but they would not call themselves that. I come from a very religious group.
Churches are cult-like,
right?
And this is not to discourage anyone's religion or anything like that. You know, I just personally don't subscribe to the orthodoxy. Yeah. I think God is bigger than a church,
right?
So
it can't be something so formulaic as churches will tell you to believe and whatnot. And beyond basic Christianity, I was one of those door knockers. I was a Jehovah's Witness growing up.
Fundamental.
Right, fun. Yeah, I left like 3-4 years ago, I guess, and that was like my first, like, actually. People say out in the world, but Jehovah's Witnesses literally call everyone who's not a part of the church worldly. Those are other people. So I grew up with a super black and white, us versus them mentality. And then when I grew up, and I thought, and I wasn't like preacher's son type kid that just goes and does the church stuff, and then on the weekends goes knock down a bunch of bitches and drinking and shit. No, I was like really about it and believed it, preached it at school, that type of shit. Like somebody said, be like, hey, well, you know, Luke 4, blah, blah, whatever, you know, like right. Says this, and if you just blah, blah, why don't you come to my church? I was that kid, right? So when I got I was like 18, 19, whatever it is, I started to see holes in what we were saying according to the Bible, because I'm not religious anymore. I'd say I'm spiritual. I hate it, but that's the best thing I could say. I feel like there's something there, but like you said, God would be bigger than any church. But stuff like my beliefs weren't lining up to what I was feeling, or I would be at church and feel like, oh, this is kind of, I hear this all the time. Yeah. But then I may take a day to go sit in the woods and I would feel like, oh, God is right here. It may be weird enough to say, but I felt like, I felt like awe-inspired. You know what I mean?
Totally.
Because I'm actually in, this is concrete. I know this is nature and whatnot. And so I would bring different things, contradictions and stuff to family, to my leaders, reverends, whatever you would call them, and everybody would, and I had a host of points where we're lying about stuff, and they would be like, no, or the one I would get is, who you been talking to, or where are you getting this from? And it's like, are you gonna answer my question? Like, why do you care about what you should be helping me, you should be shepherding me and whatnot. So that just developed and snowballed until I became like Satan, in the congregation, like everybody flagged me for it. So I'm what you call disfellowshipped. I'm going on a rant here,
dude.
I've got a point.
Like we have got oodles of time.
Okay, cool. I'm like excommunicated from all these people. So the more and more time that went by of me not talking to these people I've grown up with, like friends and family, if they see me in public, they will maybe give a little awkward smirk, like, I see you and I still care about you.
Jeez.
But they won't say anything. But that's sweet. Most of the time it's just like walk past me like my ghost, right? The motherfucker known me since I was 4 years old. That really showed me what like cult mentality is, groupthink, and all these types of things. And that was a couple years ago. 2020 happened, and even before that, I'm feeling like the whole world is acting the same way. Like I started to view it that way. I don't know if I would have if I hadn't left the church, but all this shit, like, you can't talk about anything. You should never be. I feel like there's nothing you shouldn't be able to discuss. We're just talking. But we have to talk. Like you're saying, that's the whole reason humans have exceeded, because we can talk about our ideas. And if you don't do that, then that's dangerous. Then you got people, who knows what. Shut up, close them off, or censor them, or whatever. But now once again, like we were talking in the car, I've come to the point of, there has to be that discussion, but then how do you stop just like poison? Who deems what's poison? We gotta like come together unanimously,
right,
and say this is acceptable and this isn't. But I don't know if that can be actually done.
I think it can be done because we've done it for a long time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But what can't happen is, you can't have some people saying this is a bad idea and we're shutting it down. The way you prove or bring evidence, at least, that something's a bad idea is with better ideas.
True.
Like that's how you defeat something. Like in this state of I don't know, like an information or propaganda warfare that seems to exist just online.
Yeah.
Right, where the leader of the free world for I think 72 hours, right? But still, like,
is he almost out of there?
Yeah. Wednesday, I think.
What's today? 17?
Yes, it is.
Wow.
But yeah, they can censor who they want, right? The president of the United States of America, they can censor.
Yeah.
And that to me is incredibly dangerous, because then it sets this precedent of, okay, who's next? Mm-hmm. Who do, like, so
fuck you said?
Yeah, it's just going to trickle down from there. People don't think that it can swing back. If you're tribal, that can swing back in your direction.
Bite you in the ass? Yeah.
It's like,
it most definitely can. And I that's what we're going to see what happens, but there's no way that's not going to be used where it shouldn't.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I mean, what? People can't be incorrect anymore?
No, you can't.
Like, that's you can't, like, only certain apologies are accepted, and like there's something grotesque about like the apology trends, you know, particularly like you'll see from like celebrities. Mm-hmm. They'll be like trying to start this trend of like, all right guys, now everybody apologize. It's like, for what?
Yeah.
I'm not part of this collective thing. My fuck ups are my own. I have to deal with my own guilt. I don't want anybody else like deal with my guilt. It's mine.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Like
you're not. Celebrities are not like over us. Like they're not a politician. They're not somebody that.
No, but they seem to be like
lords or something.
Yeah, man. Like these living saints for almost like political ideology.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a you're definitely if you are a fan of somebody, there's probably a name for you in your group. Like if you're the Beehive, or if you're like Nicki Minaj, you're Barbie, or whatever we call it. You know what I mean?
Right.
But there's definitely a culture that goes with all of that. It's different than yeah. It's fucking weird, man. Who I don't know. The government seems to be losing more and more power over people as a whole.
Yeah.
And so, which is scary because that means they're going to clamp down on that shit to get it.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Because the logic there is that if they don't, someone else will.
Uh-huh.
And then they may not have control over it. Like it's a game that never ends. What is interesting though is that a place like our community, like the Greater Valdosta area, is a pretty purple area and has been this whole time. And purple meaning like self-sustaining, you know, like it has found a balance wherein you have like blue and red like
together.
Yeah. And granted, the Christian collective has the majority here, the stronghold. They're not everybody. Like
no.
They are not everybody, and their influence as far as dictating how people live their lives is not as strong as it used to be.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, it's kind of it's not the necessary. I guess I've got to the point where I don't even assume everyone I meet is a Christian now. When I used to, I mean, if they weren't showing in their dress or something, I would assume because everybody I met was just about out here. But it's definitely not the case. We see with Georgia as a state turning blue. Obviously, something's going on.
Yeah. Well, people don't want the religious right dictating the laws anymore. You know, like that's why it ultimately boils down to. Yeah. And these sort of last-ditch efforts to try to be like, but yeah, we believe in the Republican values. It's like, you guys haven't for a long time.
For a long time.
For like a long time. There's like, on like smaller communities, like, I mean, because, Valdosta ain't got 500,000 people in it.
No.
It's not anything that big. But like in some of these like bigger areas, like, Atlanta or Savannah or whatnot, like, if they don't have some sort of change in like what's going on, those cities are gonna like fucking revolt eventually. Yeah. Because some of these other big cities we've already seen outside the South, they've been like fucking up in chaos, man.
Yeah. With like what do you mean?
Like Minneapolis, like after George Floyd.
Oh yes.
What started as just like, oh yeah, it's just the police building they're burning down. Where it's like, even me, I'm like, well, I mean, I get it.
You mad?
I get it, but then all of a sudden it's like, oh, they're burning the whole block as well. And then
little Jimmy's shop.
Yeah, and then like in L.A. and I think it was like Venice and Ventura and Santa Monica, like same thing.
Getting
like
fucked up.
Yeah, just like the local businesses. It's like
yeah, that's fucked.
Yeah. Oh, same type of mentality as these folks at the Capitol, where
It's
like
the same,
like most of the folks guarantee you like that were there, that even went inside the Capitol, they didn't know what the fuck was going on. There's hundreds of people that poured in that building. However, as the tapes and the video all shows, there were some people in there that are just like we're here to bring a revolution.
Yeah, some of them were ready for the shits.
Yeah,
a lot of, and I feel like it is the same kind of mentality. But if you're getting information, if your information is false, and some of those people that raided the Capitol, I feel genuinely believe that this was stolen. This election was stolen. And we are the Patriots, and we are going to we're Captain America out here.
Yeah.
I really believe they genuinely thought that, even though they got a all lives or back the blue or whatever, and they're fucking stomping a cop out.
Yeah.
And the cognitive dissonance is just gonna let them keep going on with it. If just like Black Lives, some places they're trashing black-owned businesses. I've seen black people on the internet crying and like, why are y'all fucking up my shit?
Yeah.
Go if you gotta fuck something up, go over there. But people get pent up, and it's like a powder keg.
Yeah.
There's got to be some give, and if the government tries to like put a band-aid on everything we've learned about ourselves last year, that shit ain't gonna work. There's got to be a actual addressing our problems and changing, because people are still humans. We think America can't be like one of these past countries we hear about, but it easily could.
Oh yeah,
we have seen this already. I'm still on standby waiting to see what's gonna happen. If a civil war breaks out, I need to go out in the country or something.
Dude, like I've encouraged that to people that like live in like some of these. 2020 was sort of a sneak preview as far as like, how's your city really doing?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like some of these places I see, like some of my friends are like living at, I'm like, bro, I don't know who's convincing you guys this is normal. Like out in the streets, people like burning shit like in the middle of the night, or like setting off fireworks, or like getting in fights with police just like randomly, and looting stores and houses randomly.
It's Dark Knight 3, right?
Like seriously, dude. Like, but there's some friends that are just like, oh, but the allure of the city. I've lived in the country my whole life. Like, I get it, man. I've done it, but
what are you sacrificing? Safe. I'm glad at least I feel like we've had our city. Oh, kitty.
You were saying?
At least we haven't had none of that shit here.
Yeah, man. Like
for now.
Yeah, for now. But like again, I think because like, you know, what 2 or 3 generations ago, everybody here in the Deep South were forcibly integrated, and some of these bigger cities, like when I lived in Jersey, like there were certain cities that they never had to worry about segregation and integration, because the cities were the segregation.
All the way there, like the zones are.
Yeah. So like kind of like how, not how Valdosta will encompass Remerton, but just how the borders are, where it's just like across the street, you're still in a city, but across the street, that's another city.
Yeah.
You know. So like Jersey would have like plenty of these, and certain zones. I guess how they had gerrymandered it from
that's the word I was
ghettos they had set up in the mid 20th century, that they set up to where these towns were just, there's no white people in this town.
Yeah,
this town, there's no brown people in this town.
Yeah.
And it was weird because like, you know, down here, like it's just like sort of like neighborhoods where it's like, oh, this is mostly a black neighborhood. Yeah. This is mostly a white neighborhood.
It's done, but on a smaller scale.
Yeah. And here was just like entire cities, like even where like the city of Camden, if you were found like after hours at dark in the city of Camden driving around and you're white, you have more of a likelihood of being pulled over by the police than if you're black, which is
just like, what are you doing over here?
Yeah. Wow. And like so they have profiling set up completely differently in like different parts of the country. And it was weird to see, like even like when I would like have jobs and folks ask me like, well, how I got, because in Jersey you have to drive everywhere. You don't have a job like local to you.
Okay, yeah.
But that's like, I go through this town and this town. They're like you can't go through that town. Like I'm like, why can't I? It's like, well, you can to get here, but like when you leave here, you can't go through that town. Like you'll get a ticket. Like that's fucking stupid. It's like there are drug zones in these certain towns.
What?
Where if you're not a resident and you're not a police officer, you're not allowed to be in these zones because they are what they essentially call quarantined areas. Wow. Like the city of Camden was fucked up, dude. It was fucked up. They got rid of, I think it was like something like 2/3 of their city workers one year. Everybody at the top level all kept their jobs. But so they got rid of everybody underneath and then rehired. So essentially brought in
washed everybody out. Jesus. That's crazy. That's just like big prisons, basically. You're you're keeping everybody. Oh man.
Yeah. So I think that like how if cities are managed like that, I think that those are cities that we have been seeing in like 2020.
Go be sick of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But yeah, I'm just trying to wait to see how it's gonna ride out, and I don't do well with ultimatums, so if it comes to the point where someone's like, choose your side, I'll most likely be like, whatever side you're not on.
Yeah, don't force me to do something. Yeah. Oh, I ain't even thought about that, man. I don't know. At the same time, I feel like most people, the majority, but who fucking knows? The majority don't want no smoke. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, most of us are peaceful people on both sides, and we're watching. Well, one particular side right now is flipping the fuck out. But we'll see. We'll see. Well, that shit has not happened since what, the 1800s? They said storming the Capitol, 1816 or something. That's crazy. I never thought I would see anything like that. It just makes me
definitely not that kind of level. Yeah. I mean, I know that, like, who is he? Kavanaugh. When I don't think that was the Capitol. I think that was the Supreme Court building. But like, I think when he was in the Capitol, like having to give testimony or something, they were outside.
Yeah.
But like, they were outside.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Trying to get in, actually.
I think the whole thing was who was it, the DC mayor and the cops there? I think it was a setup that they baited.
Something's up, right?
Yeah. Well, I think that.
How's that even possible to let happen?
Well, because like most of the folks that go to like these rallies or whatnot, they're there to have a good time.
Yeah.
They're not allowed to have concerts in 2020. You know.
Yeah.
But
they're there for entertainment.
Right. But you get enough people angry, right? Mm-hmm. Which always happens at political events. You get them riled up, and then you can take that small group that's really pissed off
and aim them.
Yeah. And
most definitely.
Yeah, that's why I think the law enforcement presence was so lax. Mm-hmm. The DC mayor, she came out and said something about that after the flack of the BLM protests last summer, mm-hmm. that she didn't want to risk the same thing happening.
BLM didn't have fucking AKs and pitchforks and shit. What? I have a friend, Sherrod Hayes. Shout out Sherrod, just vibe. But he.
Good afternoon, Sherrod.
He's great. He's in Val State. He's a producer, rapper guy. Probably seen him out, but he posted something a while ago. Not to get into conspiracies, but to get into conspiracies. Where he's like,
you said conspiracies, and my phone just lit up. Like,
oh my goodness!
My FBI agent.
Stop that shit right now. But he's like, he was like, if you think that something he reposted, but it was like, if you think that this wasn't, or this Capitol Hill thing wasn't orchestrated and like got some inside job, whether it's on the right wing of trying to like let's start a coup, or if it's deeper than that. And whoever's above, left and right, is trying to. There's a term for it I can't think of. Basically, kind of like the whole country hated George Bush, mm-hmm. and was getting really like it was tension in the country. 9/11 happens, and then 9/11, and 9/11 happens, and we're all like swept up into unity in our fear, and everybody becomes so patriotic for a while, and it kind of like got the cattle together. You know what I'm saying? If there's some bigger plan with all the shit we experienced in 2020 and trying to like change what we view as normal, that right there, the Capitol thing, that gives a lot of people will be willing for stuff to happen that we wouldn't normally, like censoring people out the ass, right? Which is going to have repercussions for someone, like you're saying. It's going to backfire where it shouldn't.
Well, just when you start to like look at their logic as far as like when they say the reasons why, it's like this
shady.
Well, yeah, it doesn't make sense because like the president, is buffoonish as he is, his things that they said was like he's inciting calls to violence. He was literally saying, stop, we condemn the violence. Yeah. But because he was still talking about the election, they're like we all know it was a hoax. It was a fraud. It's like,
and even if he's doing his like coded language.
Yeah, they call it dog whistle.
Dog whistle. That's what. Yeah, dog whistling. Which that's a thing. And people organizations do that, but I don't know if you should.
Well, the double speak would be a dog whistle in of itself as well, though. You know, like them saying that like this is dangerous to have a president talking about this still.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yet at the same time, Uganda shut off Twitter because they have an election coming up. They shut Twitter off, and Twitter was like, "We condemn censorship."
That's funny.
Yeah, that's like funny. That it's dangerous to the democratic process.
They cherry pick.
Yeah. So like it's. I don't think it's good. I do agree with you though. Like we haven't seen something like this, and like to think that this is just like, well, they tried and they failed to do it. It's like this didn't seem like a coup.
Yeah.
Like this seemed like a bunch of, and no offense to my fellow brothers and sisters, a bunch of conspiracy theorists.
Yeah.
That went in there thinking that like, you know. Donald Trump was like encouraging them to like now go in there, round them all up, and the mass arrests they're gonna happen.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like all these pieces sort of line up where they're dealing with certain protests a certain way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
COVID only works at these rallies.
Yeah,
not at these things. That
police presence only works at these rallies.
Yeah.
Not these ones. You know, like all these things are different rules for different people.
Stinks. It's fishy.
Yeah, man.
Somebody's benefiting from all the moves they're doing.
I think so. Want some more coffee?
Sure. I love some coffee. Yeah, this whole all of last year, I was suspicious out the like how quickly commercials and stuff were like new normal. How the hell did we all agree to this catchphrase so quickly? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It just seems creepy. And like I said, because of my history, my antennas are always up for propaganda or you're trying to fuck with my mind. You're trying to fuck with my head.
Catholic school prepared me for that a lot, and then dealing with atheist cognitive dissonance further got it, because neither side was willing to like, all right,
be open.
Yeah, pull the reins back and sort of look inward and listen to the perspective. You don't have to believe it to be true.
Yeah.
You know? But like these marketing campaigns, like all of a sudden you start seeing like this like sympathetic, like it's like
Hallmark
we understand we're all in this together. It's like clearly we're not.
No.
We're all shut down, and you still have money to pay for advertising to encourage people to buy your product.
It's not genuine. It can't be, because you're a fucking corporation. You're not a person. That's. We're sorry that this is happening, but still use Uber Eats or something. You know what I mean? There's no way it's genuine, and that shit was creepy. Seeing that, me and my girl were like stuck in the house and watching TV and seeing certain ads and be like, is that weird to you?
Yeah,
that seems off. There's a, and when I remember after being like legitimately shut down in that quarantine for weeks or something, like stuck in the house, and then whenever we would go outside, I remember having the feeling, because at first I was very fearful of COVID and everything, and I'm not saying it doesn't exist. I'm not one of those. But I feel like it's like a new weapon that's being used or something. But anyway, going out, be inside, watching TV, looking at the news, and then go outside and expect to see fucking Armageddon, or like, you know, just expect to feel like shit was really on the brink, and everything felt normal. And then I started thinking like, and so we're getting hit on social media, we're getting hit on everything. But if we go and talk to each other, like like we are doing right now, it's very hard to feel that pent up, or like that us versus them type thing. So and people, there's much smarter people than me that know that. already, that know how humans work and how our minds work and whatnot. And it seems like this is a concentrated effort. It was a concentrated effort to get society as a whole to kind of move in a certain direction or think in a certain way. And then once you have that chess piece in place, you can say, throw this on them, which is our end goal is really this.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like a
problem, reaction, solution.
Yeah. But you create all of it.
Yeah. No. Well, I've kind of been the social distance champion for a few years already, like living out in the woods, you know. But there's just something alarming about like certain people. You just see like the panic on their face whenever they're like outside and they're just like walking around. I'm like, bro, like, you're alive today. Yeah. Today you are alive.
Yeah.
Like,
enjoy what's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm conflicted. They say, you know, our county has hella cases and whatnot. So we might be getting shut. Do you know if we're getting shut down again or
I don't know. I saw something. I think the Times put out like the first of the year that said the city services, so like City Hall, HR, water, sewage, Chamber of Commerce, some other places were shut down indefinitely. I don't know if they're open back up. I assume they would be.
Why was city services ever shut down? I mean,
because of COVID-19 was such a threat was the reason given. But yeah, like I hear all this stuff, and you know I do believe it's real. You know, I don't think it's 5G or anything like that. But like you can't live your life in fear like this.
Yeah.
You know, and like some folks are, they're just like oh we gotta get the vaccine. We gotta you know make sure that we stay shut down at least for like another year or so. It's like this is not healthy at all. Like at all. The lockdown seemed to do more damage.
Suicide rates went through the roof.
Yeah, man. Like suicidality went up, domestic violence went up, drug overdoses and abuse went up, homelessness went up because folks can't pay their rent.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like this is bad news.
Yeah.
I'm just not about it. And the mask culture, like, is so like that's so odd that's become such a controversial thing.
Oh yeah. I'm not wearing no. I feel like it's just another way to turn up my swag. You know what I'm saying? First of all, I feel like I look cool in a mask. So even though I'm still, every time I pull up somewhere, I forget to. I don't have a mask on me, but yeah, there's no reason to be upset about that. People trying to equate that to their God-given rights, taking a breath.
Well, the same way with people see people without a mask on, they'll be like, I'm going to go and say something to them right now. It's like,
son of a bitch.
Yeah, like, murderer.
Yeah.
There is one video this past week of a woman screaming bloody murder at this child.
Oh, my God.
Who didn't have a mask on. And the child very calmly and maturely says, I'm a child, I'm only 10. And the woman screams back at her, well, your mother should have raised you better. My child doesn't even have a father. It's like, oh, that's what this is.
Yeah, you got some other stuff going on.
Yeah. This same, like, I think it's a psyop what happened with 2020. Mm-hmm. Like, I think that, like, what you were talking about, that there's chess moves that were made to sort of lean a bulk of humanity psychologically to a certain direction.
Yes.
And, you know, in order to persuade them to accept one thing, which a solution will be given to move them in another direction.
And and at the end of it, life is going to look completely different. Than it did right before it. Yeah. It's already like that. I mean, it's already happened. We've accepted. So I feel like that's why 2020 felt so long for everyone. Because so much changed and there's so many new things we all have to know about and accept and plan and shit. I think, can we even go to other countries still? I mean, like specifically for Americans or for U.S. people, like the rest of the world they all handle this differently. But what if we have to get this vaccine let me talk about that vaccine.
Sure.
As if you, dear listener, if you have forgotten, as a member of the Black community, I am a little reticent, or what's the word, hesitant about any government vaccine.
It worked well for the Tuskegee.
Everything worked out for those guys, those fine gentlemen. Everybody like it's not. We act like we don't know that the government always does fuck shit, like always. And from what I know of COVID's death rates and everything, it seems like why don't they advertise us fixing our immune systems naturally? Why don't they tell us to, hey, maybe if you guys fucking worked out or whatever, push that as much as a vaccine? But they don't care about that. What is in this vaccine? What if it gives me fucking scales or something? I don't know. I'm being silly, but seriously, like I want some other people to take it first before I go out there and get it. But at the same time, I'm trying to be a musician out here. I need these live shows to come back.
Right.
I need to be able to go travel, and if I gotta take this vaccine, man, I might risk the metamorphosis. But
that's kind of where I'm at as well. Not as a member of the Black community.
Yeah.
But
same sentiment.
But no, like it's I don't trust the science yet. And I don't think, unless it comes to a point to where my career is dependent on being able to prove that I am vaccinated like a quote-unquote good boy.
Like a good boy.
Yeah. Until it gets to that point, I am not willing to dedicate my body to science.
Yeah.
And it's again, it's worrisome because I've not contracted, knock on wood, I've not contracted COVID. I've had no symptoms of it,
Me either. No, I'm good.
But like I used 2020 as a way to sort of like improve myself, anyway, because I was shut down. I was like, oh, I should probably quit tobacco.
Yeah.
Should probably cook more of my meals at home and be more mindful of like what I'm eating. Should probably drink more water than anything, and be outside when I can, and keep my immune system healthy.
We need sunlight for our immune system, for us to be functioning. That's another silly thing, but.
That's another thing about folks that live in the city, where I'm just like, bro, we are blessed to be around so much greenery.
Yeah. I need it for my sanity. I definitely want to move to a bigger city than Valdez, but I've been to Atlanta a few times, and I'll be like, oh, this is great, but then I'm always have a moment where I'm like, oh, I can't imagine getting used to seeing just concrete all the time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Even though Atlanta's not even it's got greenery, but still, you need nature.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, you need to be able to have a place where you can get away from people if you need to. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the problem with living in these concrete boxes, is everybody's just stacked on top of one another, and that I don't. It's no wonder that big cities like that, we're in such turmoil in 2020, man, because people aren't designed to live like that.
No, not on top of each other like that.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, and my antisocial ass, I'm glad I'm in a house now. Speaking of, I've kind of bummed myself out thinking about tours now, and I don't even know what to plan really for the music and whatnot.
I think you should just keep making more. As far as recording,
definitely stopped. Yeah.
If you keep creating more content, then if nothing else, then your sanity is gonna stay. You know what I mean?
True.
But there's a way to monetize content online as well. It's definitely not the same, or it's going to be as lucrative as playing a show at first, but you can still plant some seeds for it.
The band, the guys, Mama Stone wants to. We're planning to start. We have a friend that John Crowell that has has a studio in his house, in his garage, or like extension of his house. And he also where you can record there for like studio projects, but he also sets up you can do video at the same time. He gets the audio, he puts together and makes like almost like audio tree type videos. We did one with him a while ago, and that was cool. Wasn't the best performance, at least on my end, but it looked great. People liked it. On most views we ever gotten anything we put on YouTube, because it looked so good. And so we're planning on doing songs and different covers and original stuff, making videos of them, and trying to like increase our online presence since we don't know what else we can do.
Yeah.
But I'm excited about that. That's gonna be a new thing. Even though I'm young, I'm not very hip on the internet and whatnot. I do Instagram and whatnot, but very sparsely and not. I just can't keep it up, man. I can't.
No, like I have a Snapchat. I've
Snapchats.
I think the last thing I put out was like 2 or 3 years ago, something like that. You know, like I don't TikTok. I'm not on Twitter. Thank God I was never on Twitter.
My girl convinced me to get a TikTok account, and I did it. I did put like one video up. I'm like, yeah. I just can't keep. I can't. It's hard for me to feel like motivated about online content as much as because when you're playing in front of people, you can feel it. Like, and then the drug of that applause is like, yeah. Then if you do it online, I'm just staring at a ticker, and numbers like, oh, they liked it.
Yeah. Yeah, slow dopamine.
I feel like a loser, but like a straight loser. You mind if I send a message right here?
Sure.
Quick, I'll send my carrier pigeon.
We need to take a quick pause for the message.
Yeah.
Sure.
We can talk about something else.
I'm not sure what we were talking about. There you go. But yeah, this guy put some fresh strings on it, but it was tuned to drop B. Yeah. But I want to get a baritone guitar because I think they're tuned to B standard.
Is it like a big old body?
Yeah, I think the neck of it is longer as well. Like what's that? I think that's 22-inch neck. But yeah, I've never had a baritone. I want to get that and a 5-string bass. The project that I'm working on now, this album is most of the guitars are tuned down to B or C sharp standard. So
why are you going so low? Why are you going down there?
Just different tone and timbre
okay.
for the whole record. A few of the songs are written in the key of F sharp minor, and that becomes where your A string would be.
Okay.
From where you drop it down.
Got you.
So, I don't know. It also like with the last album, I would tune up a lot with a capo, even on like electric like parts.
Okay.
So like some songs being drop E or drop F sharp. So I want to kind of go the other route with this one and whatnot.
I haven't exhausted enough. I feel like I don't have standard down enough, but it might just be I'm scared of change. I always stay in the standard tuning because I don't know.
I like a standard tuning. I still used it on the last album as well. There's one album I did where I was like insistent the whole album needed to be in standard because I wanted to make something heavy. Normally what folks will do, like guitar players, to be like something heavy would be like, let's down tune.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Does that make sense?
But standard intervals, they give you different mechanisms that you can't get with drop tuning. You know what I mean?
That's what I'm mainly like worried about. I feel like I would have to learn more chops all over. I feel from during last year, like I told you, you were talking about. I said I need to get back to recording stuff. I stopped, but when I was in that little bubble, my goal was to get really good at recording and mixing stuff as best as I could. So I could just bring it to the band and any musical stuff I want to do. Because I do want to go to school for audio engineering, just so I can, outside of music and stuff, if somebody wants me to make commercials or something, I won't be able to do the audio for it. So I got into all the technical side of that stuff. But at the end of it, when we were talking about getting back to playing shows, I pick up a guitar and I was like rusty. Like it was scary how much I had lost it because I was playing guitar all the time. So now my focus is back on just what I know, like to level up in playing and particularly songwriting, because I feel like that's where my bread and butter is. Not that you shouldn't know how to do other stuff, but jack of all trades, master of none,
right?
Type deal. Yeah, I don't want to lose that, because if I lose my spice in guitar playing, I'll feel like a fraud. You know what I mean? Like,
totally.
I feel like, what am I doing?
I'll get like that though. Like some of the stuff I'm even working on now, like it's simple because like it's almost like I'm sort of tapping into my younger self to be like, I want to write a song that my younger self could learn how to play.
Yeah.
You know, like there is some allure with that as a guitar player, especially like because I know what you mean about like being rusty and picking it back up. Just be like, oh gosh,
what?
I remember when I used to be able to just fly across the neckboard and
it's something like this, right? Yeah. Another thing that bothers me, why I feel like I'm always trying to like blend genres or like conventional. You mentioned earlier, like conventional moments or something. For an example, like EDM or house music always has that. That shit. So, not that in particular, but I feel like every genre has its thing that it does. You know what I mean?
Totally.
And to bring that into other genres, see what it sounds like. It might sound stupid, but why not try it? Because I don't feel that like when I first started playing guitar when I was younger and the stuff I was writing, it was just pouring out of me, man. And I wasn't thinking about it. I was just like, oh, that's awesome. Yeah, that's awesome. And now I don't have that really. It's once in a blue moon or something. I'll like have a progression or I don't even come up with riffs anymore really. I'll just have a progression. I'm like, oh, that's pretty. Let's go with it. But most of the time, I'm like, and I'm afraid that that spark, you gotta nourish that shit.
Yeah. Because
if I ever experienced what I did a couple months ago, feeling rusty like that, but any worse, oh my god, I will lose my mind. Yeah.
Have you tried like? Well, you say you didn't do too many drop intervals or anything like that. Have you ever tried with with capo though?
Capo, I'm strongly against capos.
Yeah.
not. I don't look down on them or nothing, but I just feel like
it will give you something to where like. Because you'll get used to like a certain like muscle memory producing a certain sound, you know what I mean? Yeah. So like if you start doing like more of like say like open chords or something, it'll trigger something different.
You're right.
And either that or like try tuning down half a step.
Everything half a step.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll give you a different timbre and sound. You know,
it sparks something else.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's. Because they're different frequencies, right? So your brain's totally going to be affected by them, as well as like your heart and body and everything else, in a different manner. You know. Have
you heard about our old bassist Ritz used to talk about? He discovered that most songs are. Gosh, I'm going to butcher this. Most like modern music is in a certain frequency, like hertz.
Yeah, 443.
443. Yeah, and he was talking about we should like. Tune our shit to 437 or so. It was some
440.
40. Okay, 40. It was some other slightly different, and it was like that was the. He read that was the natural frequency or more in harmony with the earth. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. There was something. I think the conspiracy is that Goebbels or one of the Nazi scientists. Found this out and then changed the standard so it would be so all Western music would be out of key. Like even like classical music is tuned to a different frequency than traditional Western music is. But so 440 hertz, I think it's A is the note. Like the hertz itself, like whenever it's play like as a standing wave. Like it'll produce this like sort of sacred geometry sort of shape versus 443 will not.
Doesn't.
I may have those backwards, but essentially,
I get what you're saying.
Yeah,
I mean, that's basically what it was. That's what we were talking about. I don't know how to tune a guitar to the hertz though. You get a special tuner or something?
I think you can do it with. There's a tuner that will have it breaks it down into each value is a cent. So there's 100 cents. Okay. In say in between like A and A flat.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you can use Audacity as a program. Your records, you can take a song that's finished and then be like, okay, now we can tune the whole song to 440 hertz. And there's 2 ways to do it. You can either preserve the speed, so it'll keep the same tempo, same duration, or you can have it to where everything will lengthen because of it, because you're making the waveform longer.
That's gotta sound weird.
It's different for sure, but like I haven't done it yet with any of my records, but it's on the idea table is to rebounce them at the different frequency.
You use Audacity?
Yeah. Well, I'll use it for kind of like post stuff. I use Sony Acid for my DAW, digital audio workstation. Yeah.
Well, my amateur ass was using GarageBand. Dude, I want to get Logic just because but I mean, I don't even know how to use GarageBand all the way yet.
I learn stuff with software like all the time. You know what I mean? And I'm a pretty firm believer. It's you can work with whatever tools you have. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like so. I mean, like I made an album with just a couple of microphones and my living room. You know what I mean? Yeah. So
you program your drums?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. No, I can unless it's like a Ringo Starr beat.
That's it. I don't have the coordination either, man. I can't do that.
Nah, man. I just sound basic as fuck behind the drums.
Yeah. I sound basic. I have a little a Kai. I got from a friend.
I like the one of the models I use is the Akai XR10.
Okay.
It's got a fair amount. It's got I think like 32 different patches on it or something like that.
Well, I have it's a M something. I'm a Luddite, man. I don't. But it's the M something. It's a little short one. It's got I used it for it's got a short little key range, but the pads for making beats and stuff. Even with digital drum pad, my beats are still. All I could do is like a basic snaring and bass, and I'll just put some trappy hi-hats over it. That's the best I got.
Do you do them with the pad, or do you, I usually do MIDI?
I have the pad, because I can't, like, it's the best for me to keep a rhythm. And then sometimes I'll do, like, in the ballpark of the beat I'm trying to do, and I do the cardinal sin of quantizing it to whatever and see, oh, do I like that, or if I put it in this. And that usually gives me something cool. But yeah, you definitely inspired me to, I need to get back at it. I've been back to work and whatnot, and just kind of sinking into the 9 to 5. You know what I mean?
Totally.
And when you get home, you're like, "Ooh, let's work on this song." No, I'm gonna sit down.
Been using my brain all day to be
tired.
To be calm and get my job done.
Yeah,
that's normally what it is. Yeah. Shit, man. Well, Owen, I thank you very much for. Coming on the show.
Thank you for having me, dude. This is fun.
Oh yeah, dude. We'll do it again for sure. If you want, we can put some music at the end of the episode and tell people where they can find your music at.
Okay. Let me think of a good song here. I guess. Well, you mentioned. I'll plug. Okay. On Instagram, I'm Owyn.Stone. OWYN. Stone. You check out Mama Stone Music, which is a band I'm in and where all my heart and blood and sweat and tears goes to. The band, we have music on Spotify you can check out. You mentioned how about this? You mentioned No One. You can find that on Spotify, but I would like Patterson to be in it. Patterson, a song I wrote a long time ago about my area, my city, about racial injustice. It was like a kind of like a witch hunt for black people around the nearby counties back in the early 1900s, and a bunch of horrific shit turned out. Look up Mary Turner, story Mary Turner, if you want to know what it's about. But I think that song, despite the macabre content, is a vibe. I love that one.
Sure, man. We'll tap it on the end here.
All right.
So, thanks again, Owen.
All right.
Later, y'all.
Expecting me to turn my face. Guess we ain't men, guess we don't bleed the same. We just waste space, Lord, I can't take dark motivators in this place.